Yeah. What's up, metalheads? It is I, your friendly neighborhood metalhead, Spider-Man. No, I've been wanting to do this for a while, man. My top five guitar solos of all time. Now, this doesn't mean the best guitar solos in the world because obviously that's up for debate. I mean, I'm sure you got your top five favorite, maybe top 10, top 20. I just went with top five for. I mean, because it's so hard to narrow down to five because there's so many damn great guitar solos by so many great guitarists over the years. I mean, all my influences, like Ace Frehley, Randy Rhoads, Jakey Lee, all these guys that shaped who I am as a guitar player. And but so I just thought, well, let me just do top five of I'm going to look at this as more like these are the guitar solos that has made an impact on my life as far as a musician and shaped who I was. Or just every time I hear the solos, it takes me back to the time when I first discovered it, when I first started playing guitar, and to this day still gives me goosebumps when I hear them. So these are like my top five that just really just resonates with me and just stayed with me for I've been playing for like over 35 years, maybe 40 years. I started I'm bad at math. I'm 56, going on 57 in September. I started playing guitar around 15. So what is that? Yeah, it's got to be almost 40 years, right? Woo! The math sucks here, man. Anyway, stay in school, kids. Metal will rot your brain. And of course, all the guitar solos I, probably list here are of the metal world. I do have a lot of favorites, though, man. It's just like, but I just narrowed down to my top five that just, like I said, it just always resonates with me. And it was kind of hard to rank them, but I already knew who my top two was, no matter what. But the bottom three, and some of you might think, oh my god, how could he leave that person out? How could he leave that guitar solo out? And I'm sure I'm going to hear some complaints, but hey, here's the beauty of it. Hit the subscribe button, but if you like what you're seeing, of course I'm not going to bust your kneecaps to hit it. But more importantly, interact. There's the comments below, so comment and let me know. Shoot me your list. I want to see what you guys are listening to, and what's inspired you. Like what was your first like if you're playing guitar, if you're a guitar player, or maybe even a bass player, or even just a musician in general, like who was it, or what was it? What was that moment that made you go, yeah, I need to play guitar? Because for me it was, and I told the story before, it was my first concert ever was seeing Ozzy Osbourne on the Bark at the Moon tour. I was just started getting into metal. I was always into like rock. Like Journey was like my all-time favorite band at the time, and in the early 80s and stuff like that. And, I was just listening to kind of like anything that was popular on the radio. But then I started getting like records like AC/DC and Quiet Riot. And then I started getting into like the more heavier stuff, Wasp. And, especially when I met my friends in high school that I formed a band with, they turned me on to a bunch of stuff like Wasp and all these other bands. I was like obviously in the Motley Crue, things like that. But as far as guitar player, like my first favorite guitar player was probably Chris Holmes. I kind of wanted to be like him. I would always pose like him in pictures. But who made me want to play guitar was when I went and saw Ozzy Osbourne on the Bark the Moon tour, and I saw Jakey Lee. I was just like, wow, I gotta play guitar. And I begged my grandmother to buy me a guitar after that concert, and she ended up buying my brother a guitar instead. But and then about a few months later, I ended up meeting my friends, and that's where we formed a band, and that's why I needed a guitar. So I went home, Grandma, give me a guitar. I need one this for sure this time. And she didn't have the money. We weren't that very, very poor. And the guitar she bought from my brother was from a neighbor. I think she bought it for like $25 or something like that. And we're talking like 1984. So I traded some stuff for his guitar and went from there. Didn't know a thing about it. Didn't know how to tune it. Didn't know how to do anything on it. I even lied to join my friend's band and say, hey, yeah, I can play guitar when I really couldn't. But whenever I would strum on the strings, he would be like, oh, that sounds just, I would strum the three strings, like thinking I'm playing Black Sabbath, the song Black Sabbath. They go ding, ding, ding. And he'd be like, oh my God, that sounds just like it. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I never took guitar lessons. I just, once, my bass player that was in that band, he started taking guitar. I couldn't afford lessons. Again, when we were that poor, so my bass player at the time, he was able to go get some lessons. He got bass lessons and, learn theory and all and notes and things like that. And what he would do is he'd come home and teach me what he learned. So I kind of had piggyback lessons. And we would just sit in his room and just figure out songs by ear. That was our main thing. We'd put on a Metallica record or just whatever record that we had, just try to figure out the songs by ear and just, you know, learn covers and things. But yeah, Jake Lee was my guy that got me going. So who was yours? You know, but let's get into this, okay? I'm gonna, you know, show you I'm gonna start from 5. It's a weighted list. I'm gonna, you know, from 5 down to my very top guitar solo that I just love to this day and keep listening to over and over. You know, talk about a little bit and all that good stuff. And I might even show you my acts. I don't want to show it to you now because then I'll probably give away who's on my list on at least one of the people. Ooh, yeah. So let's do this. My number 5. All right. Now this is my all-time favorite guitar player. I know Jakey Lee inspired me to play guitar, but as I got, you know, progressed on guitar and I discovered Ritchie Blackmore, man. I mean, I don't know. I bought the Rainbow record, the first album by Rainbow, Byron Records, and I put it on, and there was just something about it. And I remember seeing some video of him, and I wasn't really big on Deep Purple at the time. I was more into his, because I discovered him through Rainbow, especially those early records with Dio. And he just has this style, the way he would bend his strings, and just it was raw. It was kind of sloppy, but it was fierce. He kind of looked smug. He kind of looked like he knew exactly what he was doing. Don't fuck with me, kind of personality, attitude. And later on, I got into Yngwie Malmsteen. I saw that he was one of his influences, and that kind of made me even want to like Ritchie Blackmore even more because I loved Yngwie Malmsteen as well. So he is my number 5. All right, number 5, Ritchie Blackmore. Boom. Here, let me get over here. Number 5, Ritchie Blackmore. And the solo is Man on the Silver Mountain. Now, this is a simple, we'll talk about it right after. Okay, so we're going to play it and I'm going to talk about it. Here we go. Whoa, yes, the Man on the Silver Mountain, that guitar solo. I mean, it gives me these goosebumps every time I hear it. It's simple. It's like, well, I don't know if it's like simple. I mean, I've tried playing it a few times. I'm not really good at figuring out people's guitar solos. I get jealous sometimes. I don't know if I get jealous, but I can't. I guess I could admire how much time people put in to learn guitar solos note for note. I'll see these little kids doing it, and they'll just play exactly. I'll learn parts of it, then I just kind of lose interest and just sort of do my own thing. But you know, this solo here, it's the way it just sounds like silk. Just, you know, it's just like butter, like a melting butter silk or whatever. Starting to sound like a Gary Bussie. Yo, you know, butter pancakes and yeah, it's like butter and sausage. You know, butter and sausage. No, but it's just such a silky smooth. It's just so like sexy and just like I said, it just oozes through your ears and just in such a nice way. But that's my number 5, Ritchie Blackmore's Man on the Silver Mountain. All right. You know, we're moving along here. Number 4 is a guitar player that just like really blew my mind when I first saw him. And especially when I saw the way he picks his guitar. Like I have this weird, when I'm speed picking, my hands upside down like this. Look, I'm going to show you. Vernon Reid, Cult of Personality. But the way he holds his pick when he picks fast, I thought I was doing it all wrong. You know, that's why I always felt like awkward, like people watching me play, because I just felt like, okay, I must have learned it wrong. Because when I speed pick or do the economy picking, it's like that. So I'm upside down. And I see guys doing this shit, and you know, George Lynch, he puts his finger like in doing this stuff. You know, I can't do that. I've tried. So anyway, this solo though, man, on Cult of Personality, it's just so freaking I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody, I haven't know if I've seen anybody transcribe it or, oh yeah, I have seen it transcribed. And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck do you do that? Like, I mean, he's just going all over the place. And I love seeing him when he does it like on some live footage. It's just, what I love about it, it's just so frenetic. It sounds like it's improv. and it sounds to me like there's no way he's going to play that twice the same way. Let's talk about it after this. All right. So, Cult of Personality. To that bass, keeping the riff going. They're right there. Man. Fuck, man. I mean, it's just like, this is crazy. Okay, so the riff that main that's a G Mixolydian riff. The whole song is in the key of C major, A minor. But what he's doing, like, he's playing a G minor pentatonic scale, but he's doing a lot of it just on that first E and B string. But it's just it's just so fanatic. I love shit like that. Like, that's what I kind of do. Like, when I solo, I just kind of go off, and I'm not as fast as him or anything like that. Maybe I can be if I. No, I think I've had times where I like just kind of went off like that, but yeah. But that's kind of like what I kind of model myself after a guitar player. Like, I'm not a clean guitar player, and I kind of pride myself on that. I'm not someone who sits there and like tries to learn everything by note for note and then like be a super smooth and like a super clean sound. I'll just, because I don't know, like when I hear guitar players, I like to hear rawness. I like to hear like just craziness. I like to hear emotion and fire, like Yngwie Malmsteen, he plays a lot of the same stuff over and over, like a lot of the same runs and licks and stuff, like all that Phrygian stuff, but he puts so much emotion into it, like as opposed to other guitar players who play really fast and intricate like that. So yeah, so Vernon Reid, Cult of Personality was my number 4. What's my number 3? This one, man, this should have been, I don't know, man, this could have been my number 1, but it's just let's just get into it, man. Kira Takasaki. Kira Takasaki is a motherfucker on guitar, man. This dude is so fucking fast on the way. He's like Eddie Van Halen, but on crack, man. This is like the way he fucking. I can't even do anything he does, really. The only thing I can do of his is Crazy Nights or whatever, when he's like, and he does the tremolo bar. That's the only thing I can ever do of Kira Takasaki. Heavy Change, man. This song, man, is such a great song. Okay, so check out this solo. This is my number 3. Number 3. Right here, man. Get goosebumps on this part. The way it builds. Watch the tempo come up. Right here. Whoa, man. Woo! I get a tear in my eye from that one. Right here, right here. Right there, man. Fuck, man. Ooh, I got a tear out of it. Like when I hear that solo, fuck, man. It's just there's that little and when he breaks into when the tempo comes in and it breaks in really fast. That song is pretty much all in E minor, the whole song, and even the guitar solo. Probably doing a lot of E minor pentatonics, probably some Aeolian in there and all that good shit. So yeah, that's one solo we probably never try to figure out how to play on guitar, which I'm sure there's some 10-year-old out there right now doing it, Oh, yeah. How are we doing? What's your number 3? What's your number 4? What's your number 5? I'm gonna go on to number 2. All right. Yeah, I guess I can show you my guitar because it kind of goes along with number 2 of my list here. Look at this. This is the Adrian Smith Jackson signature guitar. So I'm gonna do that. Kira Takasaki does that. Yeah, I love this guitar. It just feels so good. I'm an Iron Maiden fanatic, as you can see, the Iron Maiden t-shirt. And but so my number 2 guitar solo is Wasted Years. Wasted Years, man. This solo never gets old. We'll talk about it after this. Okay, so here we go. That's like that intro riff. And watch how he glides into it. Yeah, so he does that cool thing but he does like with the tremolo, so it's like can't get that part. Like that. But yeah, man, I love that. Some people says like this. Like you're supposed to do the B string. I always did like this. But he's like, I don't know. Woo! I know how to play that song, the whole song. But that solo, I figured the solo out a little bit, like halfway, but I could never get all the way through. But yeah, so it's obviously in D minor. I think that guitar solo is done a lot in like I said, he does that cool hammer on the pull offs and stuff like that. So D minor is one of the most popular keys that songs are written in. It's one of my favorite keys. That song, I'm sorry, D minor. The song is in E minor, the entire guitar solo. I was thinking D minor. Oh, the reason why I was thinking D minor because it's my number 1 solo. Did I show you Adrian Smith's picture there? Number 2, Adrian Smith, Wasted Years. All right, I'm losing my mind. Like where's Stanley from LSD? Can't do it. Anyway, let's go to my number 1. Boom, 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 number 1 on the Metalblock. What is your number 1 guitar solo, Eric? Well, if you were paying attention to what I was talking about in the beginning, you probably already figured it out. So, without further ado, it's Jakey Lee's "Bark at the Moon." All right, let's get into it, and then we'll talk about it. Here. Yeah. That's my number 1. This Dave, I can listen to that thing, and I'm always trying to figure out how to play it. Like, just let me see. You probably can't hear it because I know my microphone doesn't pick up my guitar good. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, I mean that song is in A minor. A lot of key changes in that song. The pre-chorus goes to D major. A minor is the main riff, and the verse and stuff. And And then the guitar solo in D minor, and he uses a lot of pentatonics and mixolydian. He kind of shifts between the mixolydian scale and the Phrygian scale in that, and the pentatonic mostly. Yeah, but Jakey Lee, man, and I'm so excited because he's playing the Black Sabbath Back to the Beginning in Birmingham, England. Now, we don't know what song he's going to do. He says he probably can't do Bark at the Moon because he's got these hand issues. I know he had surgery. He had carpal tunnel. He got shot, walking his dog. He's recovered from that, hopefully. Probably not psychologically. He's probably not. But he's going to do the show. Maybe one or two songs. We don't know. We still don't know if Ozzy's going to actually perform, or, people say that he's most likely going to be sitting in a chair while he does it. But good news about that, and that's going to be July 5th. If you're a Black Sabbath fan, this is going to be it's called Back to the Beginning. You can go online and get a ticket to stream it, and it's only $30 to stream. I got my ticket, so it's probably going to be like an all-day thing. I know it goes on at 1 o'clock in England, and it streams here at 7 a.m. But if you buy the ticket, you get 2 days to stream it afterwards. So once this thing is over, then they'll put it up for video on demand. But you only have like 48 hours to watch it before it disappears. Probably be on YouTube, I'm sure. I bought a ticket thinking like, it's going to be on YouTube the next day, like that Kiss concert was at the Madison Square Garden. But I'm so excited to see Jakey Lee. I don't know if hopefully he performed with Ozzy. That's going to be so cool. But yeah, Jakey Lee's my number one. Now you're probably wondering, where's Randy Rhoads? Where's Eddie Van Halen? Where's, Eric Clapton, all those guys. Like I said, if I did a top 10, then they would definitely be in there. Because I love Randy Rhoads no matter what, but he might be, I don't know, he might knock Richie Blackmore's guitar solo if I was to go listen to like his Over the Mountain solo. I think that's a phenomenal solo. Eddie Van Halen, I've never been a big fan of Eddie Van Halen until recently. Like, and I know it sucks to say that. Like, I kind of got more into him after he passed away, but I don't know. I was just never really a big Van Halen fan. But in the past couple of years, I've grown to really appreciate them, and I've pretty much got all their studio albums with the David Lee Roth era, not the Sammy Hagar stuff. I do like some of the Sammy Hagar. I like that song Pound Cake, man. I think that's a phenomenal riff where he does that with the drill, and just that's such a monster sounding riff of that whole song. So I do like that Pound Cake song with the Sammy Hagar era. That's a good song. Probably a couple other ones too, but nothing I would actually go buy and put in my collection. But I do like the David Lee Roth era a lot more than I used to when I was a kid. For some reason, I don't know. I just wasn't into their party band kind of personality attitude. And, Eddie Van Halen always that smirk on his face. I was always I was always pro Yngwie. There was always Yngwie versus Eddie, or Randy versus Eddie. So I was always pro Randy, pro Yngwie over Eddie. But I think he's a phenomenal guitar player. And, yeah, I missed out on a lot, so I'm catching up to Eddie Van Halen. But so this is just my personal list of what my all-time favorite guitar solos are. The ones that actually, like I said, touched me over the years and touched me there, and and just really had an impact on my own playing and me as a guitar player and as a musician. These solos has just stuck with me throughout the years, and that's why they're in my top 5. Now, if I were to do the top 5 of best guitar solos of all time, I would take a consensus from people, and I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to probably do like a top 10, and I'll have me and maybe a few of my friends who play guitar, and we can all come to a consensus of, what is that number 10 guitar solo? What is that number 1 guitar solo that pretty much everyone can agree on is probably the most baddest guitar solo? I know a lot of people say that Prince one where he played with Tom Petty and those guys. My Guitar Gently Weeps. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's what you call playing. Oh, you know what? Another favorite guitar solo, which I forgot about it. This probably would have been in my top 5. I'm not sure who would have knocked out. Maybe it would have knocked out Vernon Reid. I don't know. The Prince's Purple Rain. How could I not put that on my list? I actually know how to play. That's the only guitar solo I know how to play note for note. But I do have my own spin to it. But that's the only guitar solo I could actually play like really well. And it's fun to play it. So it's in G minor, pentatonic, and all that good stuff. So yeah. Anyway, here are the albums that I want to show you that the solos run. So Rainbow, get out there and get that. Living Color, Vivid, get out there and get that if you liked what you saw. I'm promoting their music. Loudness, Thunder in the East, released in 1985 if you like that. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time, Wasted Years is on that. Came out in 1986. Bark at the Moon, 1983. Yeah. So thank you for joining me on this. I'm going to try to get some more content up here and all that good stuff. I'm going to do some reactions again soon. I'm also looking to have another guest on soon. I think I'm going to have the guys back from Suicide, No, Sister Kill Cycle. Yeah, Sister Kill Cycle, the singer. Check them out. They got a new album that just dropped, and I think you're gonna really like that one if you give it a listen. But we're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be sometime around mid-July. So, yep. And then I'm also still working on getting D. Snyder's son, Jesse Snyder, on again. He was on my show before. Hopefully, I can get Madam X on again. I had the singer Madam X a couple years back. They're working on a new record, and I think I saw an interview with Roxy Petrucci. She said it's pretty much almost done. So maybe I can get Brett back on the show, and we could talk about Brett Kaiser, the singer of Madam X, very kick-ass metal band from the 80s that Sebastian Bach was once a part of. All right. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourselves. Have a good 4th of July next weekend. If I don't see you till then, be safe. Be vigilant. They're rounding up all the Iranians to make sure there's no terrorist attacks. The ISIS, dude. The Mexicans are like, whew, thank God, man, for Iran. Oh, man. That shit's crazy. But anyway, yeah. So be kind to yourselves. Be kind to yourself. Because if you're not good to yourself, you're no good to anyone else. All right. So horns up and peace out.